So my name's Anita Banerji, and I'm actually doing this session, and I'm very pleased to be giving the keynote as well. So they're going to be very different sessions. I'll tell you a little bit about myself in the next session, because this session is really more about you. I'm facilitating this session. And it's allowing you to integrate your learnings and networks developed during the retreat into your career. And it's building on some of the work that you did with Kristen yesterday. If you were here, it doesn't matter if you weren't. And again, we've started the conversations nicely already today. So firstly, I don't know, has anybody seen Kung Fu Panda 4? There are 3 rules of the street. Can you remember the 3rd rule of the street? No. The 3rd rule of the street is nobody cares about your emotions. Yeah? So we do care about your emotions. So the first thing is, how are you feeling at the end of this retreat? And it may be that you're feeling multiple of those, and those emojis can mean whatever you want them to. But you maybe would like to turn to the person next to you, so just in 2s, 3s if you need to, and just let them know which of those emojis are speaking to you right now. And welcome if you're online, you can put something in the chat to share with other people online. So it's just a minute, this. Okay. So, yeah. Just bringing you back, I wonder how many emojis you touched on your table then. Okay, so that's how you are now, and now we're going to look back over the retreat. So we're going to do a kind of processing of the program. So I'm going to actually show you the program up here, sort of paired days. I'm going to talk through it a little bit. And in a way, this is the work that we're always going to say we're going to do. I'm going to get back and have a look through the program. I'm going to remind myself what worked for me. I'm going to take that further. And then the emails come in, the work requests come in, and we don't manage to do it. So we've integrated it into the program. So as I go through these days, some of them you may have been to, some of you may not, ask yourselves, which 1 or 2 sessions did you engage with most? And which 1 or 2 people are you most interested in having a further conversation with? And you might want to actually sort of build up maybe your reflections. If you like to write, that's what I do. I get the pen and paper out and I'd write. But if you're a tippy-tapper, that's fine. So let's run through your program. So Monday, maybe you live in Manchester, or maybe you arrived in Manchester to book into your hotel, and we had an introductory address. The theme was collaboration and communication. So we had a panel on building trust and effective communication between professionals and DRI professionals and researchers. We had a session facilitated, roundtable discussions with facilitators on linking all DRI roles, how do we ensure collaborations. There was a session on provision of training materials and digital support networks for academics, and then talking about supporting lone DRI professionals, those embedded professionals. And of course, you'll have had your lunch and your breaks. So Tuesday, day 2. Finding answers to your questions. So there was a session on data collection and integrity, building relationships with industrial partners, accessing digital infrastructure, strategy development, business cases, and looking there at funding, the funding landscapes, UKRI. So which 1 or 2 sessions did you particularly engage with that got your conversations going? And are the people there that you would like to have further conversations with? It doesn't matter whether you do or don't feel comfortable reaching out for them. It's more to notice where your interests are. So who would you like to hear speak more about a topic? Who might you like to read their webpage, look for their work, find them on LinkedIn? So you might like to note that. And then I think on Tuesday, I wasn't there, but you had your conference dinner for those who were there. Wednesday was around emerging technologies and the future of DRI. So we had a session on the impact of AI for workflows, environmental impacts of infrastructures, DRI beyond HPC and RSE. After lunch, you looked at security and compliance and preparing for the next generation of research computing infrastructure. So was there something in the technology that you were talking about there that interests you, that you want to explore and learn skills in that area, or something you feel like you need to know a little bit more about so you can see how your role links in with that, how you can bring that into your groups? Thursday, so that was yesterday, so that's leadership and career development. So we had a panel on career progression for DRI professionals, pathways for professionals. There was a discussion there, wasn't there, on what does promotion mean for different people? What does it mean for you? Is that something you want to explore more? Accessible training and staying relevant in a rapidly changing environment. We had recruitment and diversity with Kristin Merritt, and she started a nice reflection exercise as well. After lunch, there was a session on leadership and mentorship. So again, which of those really engaged you? Who was there that maybe you could see as a mentor or role model? Maybe? Yeah. So those are our 4 days. So you've noted that down, and now we're going to do a reflection exercise around some more specific questions. So I've got up the 6 questions here. And the first thing is just to have a 1-minute reflection by yourself. And you might like to just note the number of the questions, or you might, I'll be leaving this up, but you might like to know which questions you would particularly like to explore. And you might start taking some notes or having a think about your answer to them. So it's just 1 minute quiet time, really, to have a think about that. Okay, so what I find is sometimes I find it hard just to answer the question as it is, and I find it easier to maybe talk to people, particularly hear what other people are saying, and then that seems to get me going a bit more on specifics. So the first thing I'm going to do is suggest the online people can now, and Emma will look after you, what works best. She'll put you in a breakout room. Maybe you'll stay in plenary. And you probably have about 10 minutes for you to discuss this online together. So Emma, you're very welcome to take the online people off now as I sort out the in-person people. So I'm actually going to ask you in a minute to stand up and go and find somebody to talk to. It doesn't matter who. It's an opportunity because you've already had some of these discussions on your table. So maybe not somebody on your table. Go and find somebody. You're going to do this stood up. This is the sort of thing where somebody suggests it to me. I'm like, don't make me do that. But it does actually work. We've done this before. So I know how you're feeling right now. I won't put the emojis back up. You've probably got the grimace. So you're going to find somebody else. I want you to find that other person and just stand with them quietly to start with. And then if you end up being by yourself, put your hand up and we'll match up the people who have ended up by themselves. So you're going to have 1 minute then to share with another person. And we're going to do that 3 times. So it's 1 minute each. Yeah, so it's quite just a succinct idea. So pick your first question you're going to talk about and just go and stand quietly with somebody else. And if you're not with somebody else, put your hand up. No, I'm not. I'm going to need to keep hold of the time, yeah. Okay, if you could just stand quietly for the moment. Is there anybody by themselves? Put your hand up if you're by yourself. So there's a match there. There's somebody. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Find each other. Okay, you've got 1 minute each, and look after that 1 minute. So thank you very much for giving that a go. I hope any social awkwardness and resistance was mitigated by some interesting conversations. So now what we'd like you to do is a chance to transfer some of those ideas and conversations down onto, condense them down onto virtual paper. So we'd invite you to go onto today's Slido and have a go at articulating your answers to one of those questions in written form. This is both nice for yourself for some reflection time, but also you've spoken to 3 people, you'll be able to see more broadly how that picture is building in the retreat, and it also links our online people with our in-person people. So if we could have the first Slido. So hopefully we'll see them starting to appear. So do you need the 3 questions up again, the 6 questions up again, or do you know what you're answering? Do you know what you want to write? The questions, yeah, sorry. Could we go back to the questions, and then we'll have a look at the Slido afterwards. Yeah, the answer on Slido. Your answer to one of those questions or more on Slido. Okay, so probably you can see the results of that Slido on your on your device. So we'll move back to the presentation now. Thank you. So this is the final reflection exercise of this session. It's called the best possible self-intervention. And it's imaginal in a way. So imagine that it's January 2026. You're back at this retreat, January 2026, the DRI Retreat. And you were talking to the same people you are now. You've worked hard in your role. You have been successful at integrating the learnings from this retreat. All the elements have gone as well as they could have. So take yourself to that space. What were your goals and what actions did you take? So this is a writing exercise. You are just writing this for yourself. I'm not going to ask you to share. So here are some tips. Concentrate on your goals, objectives, or aspirations. This is an imagination. This is story writing. For the moment, we're going to put aside barriers. We know there are structural barriers and issues. But in this world, everything has gone well for you. What do you want to achieve? Imagine you've achieved that and you're telling people. Be specific about what you want to accomplish. And free yourself. This is just for you. So stretch the envelope of your imposter syndrome. Let yourself stretch the envelope a bit. So this is just a 10-minute exercise. So go ahead. I'd like to do this on pen and paper. That would be my thing, because it feels like the hand is connected to the heart. So I can express a bit more that way. But if you're maybe pianists would argue differently with me, so maybe typing is fine too. So go ahead. Okay, so just bringing that writing exercise to a close. Of course, you can do more of this in your own time. And the research suggests that if you do this exercise kind of every day for 2 weeks, it can have quite a positive effect on your aspirations. And of course, we've put aside barriers, but doing this can keep your sort of aspiration and vision sort of strong. And then you'll meet barriers, and it can help provide the energy to find or navigate those, or in whatever way is possible. And you might like to also ask yourself, you might not want to share your whole story of success, that was just for you, but is there anybody you would like to reach out to within your institute or group to let them know this is something that you're aiming for? And often we do that in our, they're called different things, but personal development reviews. If you trust your line manager, you might want to share with them some of your aspirations, either something practical you're looking to do, or maybe more career aspirations as well, to seek some support with that. So finally, we've just got 2 minutes now. I'm not going to ask you to share what you've put in your story, but I want you to share how you found doing that exercise. So what was it like for you? Did you find it easy? Did you find it embarrassing to have to kind of say, hey, this might happen for me? So just turn to the person next to you, 2s or 3s, and share, how did you find that exercise? Maybe you didn't do it and you resisted it and you want to share with that. It wasn't for me. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, everybody. So just to bring this session to a close, thank you very much for staying in the room and engaging with those facilitation exercises. It's interesting to know if you resisted them, if it wasn't for you, or if it was. You kind of know what works for you and what doesn't to explore your career development and reflect on the retreat so far. So we've got half an hour break as usual now. And then, I'm very pleased to be giving the keynote. Just to let you know, the keynote isn't going to be a reflective session like this. So if it wasn't for you, don't hesitate to come back. That's more a traditional sort of keynote PowerPoint presentation, and you can sit and relax and engage in your own way. So just to let you know that, and thank you. I hope when I've done somebody's run a session like this for me at the end of the retreat, I found it very useful. I know others have. So it won't hit everybody's spot, but I hope, you all got something out of it. So thank you, and see you at 12.